Yeah, I have been having the hardest time with my internet and technology this afternoon, but now that the rain's gone, I'm wondering if it was just the weather because now that the rain has stopped, I'm able to access everything no problem. So, fingers crossed that this is going to work now. I'm sorry that our special lesson Thursday is late today. I don't really know what happened. So, let's move on. To start with our nutrition activity today, I would like to begin by watching a quick brain pop. We won't take the quiz today about eating right. That'll get us started with nutrition today. Let's see how loud my volume is. There we go. All right.
Moby, I think we should pick something healthier. Why should you eat healthy foods? Food is fuel for your body. When you eat, your digestive system breaks food down and takes in nutrients. Your body needs nutrients to grow and stay healthy. Milk, yogurt, and cheese are high in calcium, which is a nutrient your body needs to build strong bones. Vegetables, nuts, and beans have nutrients that help keep eyes, skin, and hair healthy. Some foods are not as nutritious or healthy as others. What is junk food? Junk food is food that has few nutrients and is high in fat, sugar, or salt. Foods that are high in sugar can change your mood or how you feel. After eating sugary snacks, you might feel really hyper and have too much energy. But your mood can change quickly and you can get really tired or grumpy. Eating too many foods that are high in fat and salt can cause health problems later on. You should avoid junk food when you can and eat healthier foods instead. This picture reminds us how much to eat from the different food groups and keep up a balanced diet. How can you choose a healthy breakfast? After you wake up, your body needs fuel to begin the day. That's why people say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Donuts and pastries are high in fat and sugar, and some cereals have a lot of sugar too. Bacon, sausage, and hash browns are greasy and have a lot of fat. They're not the healthiest way to start your day. Instead, you could eat whole wheat toast or multigrain bagels, which have a lot of fiber. You can have fruit with yogurt, which is more nutritious than a donut. Eating a healthy breakfast can give you enough energy and keep you full until lunch. How can you choose a healthy lunch? Let's see. Today there's pizza, hamburgers, or salad with grilled chicken. I like pizza and hamburgers too, Moby, but they're pretty greasy. They have a lot of fat and salt. The salad has fresh vegetables, which are nutritious. Plus, chicken is lean, so it doesn't have a lot of fat. That's the healthiest choice. When you can, choose foods with fresh fruits and vegetables. And whole grain breads instead of white bread. Whole grain breads are darker and they have more nutrients. Fruits are high in vitamins, which your body uses to stay healthy. I think you're supposed to peel that first, Moby. Sometimes it can be hard to find the healthiest choice. Potato chips and corn chips are fried, so they're high in salt and fat. These chips are baked, so they're lower in fat, but they're still a processed food and high in sodium. I'm going to get the unsalted mixed nuts. Nuts have protein, which your body needs to build muscles. Which should we drink? Juices might seem healthy, but sometimes they can have a lot of added sugar. A sports drink sounds like a good choice, but it has weird stuff in the ingredients. A good rule is if you can't pronounce it, then it's probably not the healthiest choice to eat or drink. Milk is nutritious, but chocolate and strawberry milk have a ton of sugar. The healthiest choice is probably plain low-fat milk or water. Your body needs healthy food to stay healthy, so pay attention to what you eat. Nice save, Moby.
All right, pretty quick video today, but I wanted to make sure I shared that with you because it kind of encompassed everything we're going to be talking about today. It even showed you an ingredients list on some packaging, some food packaging. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our activity for today. We're going to focus on nutrition facts, which you can read on the labels of food to tell which is healthiest for you. You can start with this, which I tried to print this morning and my printer's not working. So let's take a look at this together. It says, answer the following questions by reading the nutrition facts that on the labels that we brought in. Okay, so obviously we're not in class together, unfortunately. Excuse me. But I do have some cereals here that we're going to take a look at today. Let's take a look at some frosted mini wheats, okay? Wheat is in the name. You would think it would be kind of healthy, right? Let's take a look. Let's see how large a serving size is that's listed on the label. It says there's about 8 servings per container, so per box. A serving size is about 25 biscuits. So if you really want to, and I used to do this all the time. I'm not that too worried about it like that way anymore, but you would count 25 of these teeny tiny little mini wheats. It'd fill up probably a small bowl. That would be a serving size, okay? So how large is the serving size? I would write on my scrap paper, the serving size for frosted mini wheats is 25 biscuits. How many calories are in each serving size? We can tell that by looking at the nutrition label, the nutrition facts. So let's take a look together. How many calories are in a serving size of the frosted mini wheats? Well, if I'm eating it plain without milk, it's going to be 210 calories. I'm going to go ahead and include without milk because it's asking just specifically the cereal itself. If I'm adding something like skim milk, it's going to bring it up to 270. Almond milks, oat milks, 1%, 2% milks are going to give you a higher caloric value, calorie count. So I would write next to number 2, a serving size would be 210 calories. What is the main ingredient in your product? Okay, this is where you can find the nutrition facts. Let's take a look down here. Way at the bottom, super small, they do that on purpose, is a place where it says ingredients. And right here it says that the first ingredient, which means this is the material or the ingredient that you can find most. So the highest value of ingredients in this cereal, it says is whole grain wheat. So that doesn't sound too bad. So for number 3, I would write whole grain wheat. Number 4, is there trans fat in your product? You're going to find that again on the nutrition facts label. There's all kinds of different nutrients here on the left underneath calories that you can look for. Let's look for trans fat. Trans fat is right here. Trans fat. It says 0 grams. So that means there's no trans fat in this cereal. So for number 4, I would put no. What is the daily value of fat in your product? So the daily value is a percentage based on how much fat you really should have in a day. So just above where it says trans fat, it says total fat, 1.5 grams. So in your daily intake of fat, this only takes up about 2% if you have a serving size. So I could write 1.5 grams or 2% for number 5. How much protein's in your product? You really want to have a good amount of protein for breakfast because it'll help you get through your day, help your brain function better. So let's take a look at protein. Protein is right here. I'm so sorry if you can't see it too well. Protein, it says there's 5 grams of it, or 4% of your daily intake of protein. So for number 6, I would write, how much is there? There is 5 grams. It's not great, but it's not terrible. List the vitamins that you can find in your product. See if I can make my screen bigger so that you can see me better. That would be great. Oh, wonderful. So the vitamins are going to be, give me a moment. They make this difficult on purpose. So underneath ingredients, I hope you can see that. It looks super blurry on my end. Under ingredients, there's something that says vitamins and minerals. It says the vitamins and minerals you can find in this cereal is reduced iron, folic acid. That's it. So under the list of vitamins, I would write folic acid and iron, which are important vitamins. What do you think the healthiest ingredient in your product is? That's a great question. Let's look at our ingredients list again. I'll read them to you. Now, the ones that are in bold are the ones that show up the most, that take up the most space in this, this cereal. The first ingredient is whole grain wheat. Again, we thought that was pretty good. However, the second ingredient is sugar. That means there's a ton of sugar in this. Contains 2% of less of brown rice syrup, gelatin. So if you are someone who doesn't eat animal products, you wouldn't be able to eat this. It has gelatin in it. BHT for freshness. So really there's not too many ingredients, as a matter of fact, in this. So I would say of the things that we just read, there are some things that I really didn't know what they were, like BHT for freshness, brown rice syrup. I know what brown rice is, but I've never, I don't know if I've heard of the syrup, but the fact that they said brown rice makes it sound not so bad, right? I would say the best ingredient in the cereal is going to be the whole grain wheat. So for number 8, I would write whole grain wheat. The last question, is what do you think the worst ingredient in your product is? This can be tricky because we know sugar needs to be limited in the things that you eat. So sugar is definitely on my radar there. However, I don't know what BHT is. And it says that that's what they use to make it not go bad fast. So I'm going to actually write 2 things because I'm not sure what BHT is. I would write BHT and sugar. Because if I don't know what it is, I'm going to want to do more research on it, right? So I would put that as an ingredient that's the worst because I don't know what it is and it doesn't tell me what it is. So it kind of makes me a little worried. Alrighty. That'd be great. Read mode? Please? Okay. We're getting somewhere, guys. View? Full screen? Hey! Now that we don't need our web browser anymore. So let's have a look at how to read the nutrition fact labels now that we've kind of investigated for ourselves a little bit, a product that we have at home. Let's take a look at how we're supposed to read these nutrition facts, these labels. You're going to want to start here. when you're looking at something to eat, you want to know how much is a healthy portion. Portioning is so hard. We want to just eat as much as we want until we're satisfied. But it's important to keep in mind what the serving size is, because all the information down here that they give you is in accordance with this. So if you're not keeping the serving size, or you're not aware of how many servings you're taking, you might be eating a lot more fat, sodium, which is salt, and sugars than you might think by reading this. So check the serving size first. That is what the company is advising you eat as a good portion. Next, you're going to want to check out the calories. So whatever item this is, there's 90 calories in that. If you notice to the right, it says of those 90 calories in this product, 30 of those calories are fat calories. So 1/3 of the calories in this item is fat. That's not great. And then try to limit these nutrients. So obviously your body does need salt. Your body does need fats, and it does need a bit of cholesterol as well. You want to look here because you don't want to have something that's high in sodium, especially not trans fat or saturated fat. And then cholesterol you want to keep as low as possible. Okay, so the items they have highlighted in orange are the ones that you want to try to make sure are on the lower side. Let's take a look on the right side of this. This is what we were just talking about as we investigated our frosted mini wheats, or whatever item you chose at home. This is your quick guide to figure out what % of your daily value, of your daily intake of these nutrients this item is providing you with. Keep in mind, this is a great guide. Hold on to this if you'd like. They give you these percentages, they give you milligrams, grams, but what does that all mean? Thankfully, you know, they give you these grams, milligrams, but they also interpret that as far as a percentage of your daily intake to make it easier to understand. So if you're looking at 5% or less, that's low. So for ingredients like this, fat, cholesterol, sodium, the lower the better. So if these items are under 5%, that's awesome. 20% or more is super high. You want to try to stay under that, or limit the foods that you eat that do, you know, skyrocket above 20% of your daily intake. Because think about it. If I have 2 dimes, 20 cents, and I'm trying to see how many more dimes I need to take to get to $1, okay? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. It takes 10 dimes to get to $1, and 10 dimes is going to be, or 2 dimes is 20%. I feel like I'm confusing you. I'm gonna move. So 20% is 1/5 is what I'm trying to get to, I'm sorry, is 1/5 of your daily intake. So if you're just having a bowl of cereal and it's giving you 1/5 of your daily fat intake or your daily salt intake, that's not great. Because you're gonna wanna get your salt and things from like vegetables or your protein for the day. That's kind of setting you up for a not so healthy day. I'll move on. You need to make sure that you're getting enough of these lilac ingredients, these nutrients. So I showed you that underneath where it has the nutrition facts, sometimes it's above, sometimes it's below where it shows you the ingredients list. They try to hide all of this stuff to make it difficult to look for. It's going to tell you how much vitamin A it has, how much calcium, how much vitamin C and iron. And we talked yesterday about why all of these nutrients are super important for your body. Eye health, skin, hair, nail health, bone, teeth health. Sometimes your not melatonin, your the happiness nutrient, the one that keeps you happy, that's a good nutrient to have as well. And then for your blood, the iron is super important. Footnotes. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a guide for how much you're going to want to intake in a day. So it'll say percent daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So generally a 2,000 calorie diet for a man or a woman is a pretty good average calorie intake per day. Your daily values might be higher or lower depending on your calorie needs. So someone who does a lot of working out is going to need to take in a lot more calories. For example, Michael Phelps, you might not know who that is, especially with the Olympics not being taking place this year. But Michael Phelps is a super famous Olympic swimmer. Oh my goodness. His calorie intake, because all he does all day is swim and work out, his caloric intake is something like 6,000 calories. Holy smokes. I think I watched the two Summer Olympics ago, what it is he eats in a day, and it is absolutely ridiculous. I just can't imagine eating that much. It makes me feel sick to my stomach just thinking about it. But if you're going to output energy, you need to input energy. So you need to eat more calories, healthy calories. All right. And then it shows you, you're going to try to stick to a total fat. It'll show you a gram amount. So if your daily calorie intake's 2,000 or 2,500, this would be more like for a grown adult man. This is more for like a child or a grown adult woman. So it'll show you kind of where you want to stay. And then you can compare the grams amount per day to how many grams are in this item. So you want to stick to less than 65 grams of total fat. Well, this item has 3 grams of fat. So that's not taking up too much of your daily intake of fat. That's good. Saturated fat, 20 grams. This has 0 grams of saturated fat, not bad. Cholesterol, you don't want to exceed about 300 milligrams. Thankfully, this item has 0. Sodium, you want to try to stay under 2,400 milligrams. This has 300 milligrams, which is quite high, but you know, it's still under that 20% value, so it's kind of on a medium side as far as whether it's healthy or not. So not bad. And then carbohydrates. Remember, carbs are what give you energy, like potatoes, pasta, those kinds of things, rice. 300 grams per day is a good amount. So this has 13 grams. It's under that 5%. That's a great statistic to have. And then fiber, you want to have about 25 grams a day. That's great for your digestion. And this one has 3. So again, not awesome, not terrible though. Let's move on. Maybe it'll let me. These? Okay. So let's take a look at some Doritos. I want you to notice with me whether you think Doritos Fiery Fusion Sizzlin' Cayenne and Cheese chips are going to be a good choice for a snack to eat. First, we want to look at the serving size. A serving size is an ounce. What does that mean? I do have a kitchen scale, but I'm not going to just measure out how many Doritos I can eat when I want to eat some Doritos. So it tells you, okay, an ounce is about 12 chips. I mean, Doritos are like this big. 12 of them? That's not awful. Let's be honest, when we get a bag of Doritos, do we eat 12 chips? Probably not. I don't count, but next we want to look at calories. How many calories are in 12 chips? Remember, that's the serving size. So if I'm eating 12 chips, that's 140 calories, okay? If I eat the whole package, however, the whole package of chips has 390 calories total. Whew! I mean, if I'm eating 2,000 calories a day, takes me about almost a fourth of the way to my daily calorie intake. All right, next you want to look at calories from fat, 70. So it's about half of my calories from the Doritos is going to be just pure fat, not great. Let's take a look at the types of fat. So we've got some unhealthy fats here. We got saturated and trans fat, not the best. 1 gram of saturated fat which is 5% of your daily intake, and then trans fat 0. I'm going to take this information and go down to the bottom. If I'm trying to eat 2,000 calories a day, and the total fat content in one serving of Doritos is 12%, or 28 grams, let's go down here. Total fat less than 65 grams. So this has 8 grams. Not gonna take up a whole lot of your daily intake of fat calories, so that's good. Saturated fat, 1 gram of that. Let's go down. In a day, you should have less than 20 grams of saturated fat, okay? So if this has 1 gram, you have 19 grams of saturated fat left to go in a healthy amount in a day. Does that mean you have to meet 20 grams a day of saturated fat? No. But you want to try not to exceed that is what it's suggesting. No trans fat, don't have to worry about that. Cholesterol, surprisingly none. Sodium, here we go. Chips and sodium, chips and salt, tons of it. 7% of your daily intake and just 12 chips. Do we remember what a healthy percentage is of these ingredients? Remember, if it's under 5%, that's low. If it's above 20%, that's high. So sodium, 7%. It's pretty close to that low range. It's not as bad as we initially thought. 160 milligrams is how much this 12 pieces of chips would take you to. Remember, sodium, you want to try to have less than 2,400. So really 160 is not going to take you very far. That's not bad. But try not to eat the whole bag. That's where it gets tough. Carbs, there's 16 grams. Want to try to have less than 300 grams. So not bad. Again, it's 5%, so it's in that low range. Fiber, there's surprisingly a gram of fiber in Doritos, and you want to try not to exceed 25 grams, so not bad again. Surprisingly, there's less than a gram of sugar in a bag of these Doritos, and there's actually 2 grams of protein in a serving size. So not as awful as you might think, but still you want to try to limit yourself. Try to eat the serving size amount rather than the whole bag's worth. Now let's look and see if we're getting a lot of nutrients out of this bag of Doritos, okay? Vitamin A, 0% in the serving size. Vitamin C, 0%. Calcium, 0%. Iron, 0%. I don't even know how to pronounce this, if I'm in 2nd grade, but I get 2% of that. Vitamin B6, B vitamins are really good, again, for like your skin, nails, hair, things like that, health. 2%. So if I'm looking at the nutrients here, is this a very nutrient-rich snack? No, not at all. Let's look at the ingredients list. Remember, the items that are closest to the beginning of the ingredients list is what makes up the most of this product. So this bag of Doritos mostly consists of whole corn, okay, vegetable oil, which is corn, canola, soybean, and or sunflower oil. Okay, now we're getting to the things that maybe we don't know how to pronounce. Maltodextrin, it says that's made from corn, okay? When you see things like dext, you can kind of assume that this is a type of sugar. Just fun fact. Salt, buttermilk, onion powder, monosodium glutamate, not sure what that is, cheddar cheese, which is made up of those materials, whey, which is kind of like a protein-rich substance, tomato powder, spices, sour cream, sugar, garlic powder, jalapeno pepper, so all of the different seasonings. And then it really does always warn you if you've got an ingredients list of what possible allergens are in the item. So this contains milk ingredients. So if you are lactose intolerant or highly allergic to milk products, you'll know to stay away from it because it tells you right here in bold, contains milk. Excuse me. So mainly what's in the Doritos are whole corn, vegetable oil, and then maltodextrin and salt. So those are like the 4 highest ingredients. not the best ingredients to have in a snack. And again, you're not getting a lot of nutrients out of it. However, it's not going to hurt you too bad if you have a serving size a couple times a week. All right, my dog knows that I'm recording, so she started barking, so I apologize if you can hear in the background. Hopefully she's not being too distracting. Cheetos. I want you to try this one on your own at home. So you can freeze it here, or you can take a look at the presentation that I provided a link to in the description. It's also on Google Classroom under Special Activity Thursday. I want you to take a look. Notice what a serving size is of the Cheetos. How many calories are in our serving size? How many fat calories? Okay, we want to try to have less than 5% intake of these items and not exceed 20%. Check and see if it is following that. Then compare to your daily intake as far as grams and milligrams. Next, look and see if this is a nutrient-rich snack. Take a look at these items. Does it have a lot of nutrients in it? Are you familiar with what the nutrients are that it's saying it has inside of it? Next, look at the ingredients list. Generally, the first 4 ingredients are what make up mostly this product. Okay, and then see if there's any ingredients that someone might be allergic to and might need to look out for. Okay, so pause it here and do that yourself at home before you move on with me. Okay, I want you to try on your own. Okay, Cocoa Puffs. We're gonna do an experiment here in a moment with cereal. I've shown you one type of cereal. This is an example of another type of cereal. You can do the same thing on your own at home. I'll move this out of the way if you need to pause it here and see everything. Of course, this isn't gonna get out of the way. But I want you to use this if you don't have 2 cereal types at home. You can use this as one of those cereal types. I wanted to include that for you just in case you don't have what we're going to need for our experiment today. Take a look at this though. This is very normal. This is typical for cereal. A serving size is 3/4 of a cup. Let me show you what that looks like. This is 3/4 of a cup. Let's compare that to my face. That's it. That's all you can have. You can have this much. This much cereal is a serving size. I guarantee you, when you pour your box of cereal into a bowl, you're not pouring out 3/4 of a cup. Just be aware of that, because, or if you have more than one bowl of cereal, because you can get pretty up there with your calorie intake, early on in your day if you're eating multiple bowls of cereal or, a bowl full of cereal. Just be aware of that. When you are eating cereal, maybe try to have something with it that's going to fill you up, like, a handful of berries or a banana or a cup of yogurt, or, just try to supplement with the 3/4 or a cup of cereal so that you're not starving, but you're also not taking in a lot of excess calories. Fruit by the foot, Gushers, fruit snacks, we love them. Did you know that one fruit by the foot has 80 calories in it, which is 10 fat calories? Not terrible as far as the bad ingredients go. Only includes vitamin C, but it does include 10% of vitamin C. Ingredients: pears from concentrate. Okay, so the first ingredient is a fruit. Sugar, ugh. Maltodextrin, ugh. Water. So when I'm reading the ingredients and I read the first 4, 2 of those ingredients are sugar-based ingredients. So you read pears from concentrate, you're like, all right, this actually has like fruit in it, it's loaded with fruit. And then you read sugar, oh no. Maltodextrin, oh, another type of sugar. Water, getting a lot of nutrients from water? No. You need water, but you can get water for free from the tap. Okay, just be aware of those things. All right, finally, I was trying to move quickly to get here. I'm sorry if I talked more than you wanted me to, but we're going to do some research at home. This is the experiment we're going to do today. We're going to research some of the cereals that we can find at home. Let's compare nutritional facts. All right. We're going to use cereal boxes and fill in its nutrition. Unfortunately, Mrs. Keller couldn't get this to print. So I am going to write down on scratch paper, just like you can do at home, the answers to these questions. So, all right. How many calories? Well, we've already looked at the Frosted Mini Wheats. Let's move on to a different cereal. Honey Nut Toasted Oats. So this is kind of like Honey Nut Cheerios knockoff. Okay, so let's see how much is a serving size. One cup is a serving size. Okay, so we're gonna write serving size is 1 cup. How many servings per container? 9 servings per container. Just making it really easy on myself. Okay, you don't have to recreate the wheel here. If you don't know what that saying means, ask someone at home. Amount per serving. So let's see here. It's asking us how many calories. In a serving of cereal only, 1 cup of this cereal, it's 140 calories. How many of those calories are fat? Let's see. It looks like of the calories, 2 grams are fat. So 2 grams are fat. It doesn't say how many are fat calories. It just says 2 grams of fat. Saturated fat says 0 grams or 0%. So I'm gonna write saturated fat, 0 grams. Making it real easy on myself. How many trans fat grams? 0. Okay. How much cholesterol? 0 milligrams. Okay. How much sodium? Ooh, 190 milligrams. Again, not above that 20% total, so that's not terrible. What did I just say? Sodium? You wouldn't believe how much salt is in things. What did I say? I already forgot. I'm sorry. 190 milligrams. Okay. Carbs. Is that what's next? Cholesterol. 0 grams. 0 milligrams. Oh, we already did cholesterol. Come on. Carbs, yes. 30 grams. Right here. Quite a bit more than 5%. It's 11% of your daily intake. So you wouldn't want to eat several bowls full of this, because carbs are going to give you energy, but carbs aren't always great for you. I'll leave it at that. You don't want to eat only carbs. All right, let's see how much fiber. 2 grams of fiber, so not great, especially for a cereal. 2 grams of fiber. How many sugars? Ooh, 12 grams. And then how much protein? It says 3 grams. So not great. Not a lot of fiber and not a lot of protein. You know me and my sloppy notes taking. Okay. All of that can be found up here. All right, how much of vitamin A do we have? Let's see. Vitamin A, it says 10%. Okay. How much of calcium do we have? It says 130 milligrams, which sounds like a lot. It's 10% of your daily intake. Vitamin C, 10%. Some of these don't tell you how many milligrams. And then iron, because there's so little in it. Iron is 4.5 milligrams or 25%, so not awful. 4.5 milligrams. Okay. If you do this at home, that's fine. That's enough. You don't have to print it out. You don't have to recreate the whole picture of the nutrition facts. This is where you could find all the vitamins on this box. Now, it doesn't ask you about ingredients or anything, but let's just take a look for funsies. Ingredients are down here. It says whole grain oat flour, so that's not a bad start. Sugar, wheat starch, honey, modified cornstarch, oat fiber, brown sugar, salt. Oh my goodness, there's so much sugar in this. So we have sugar, we have honey, we have corn syrup, lots of different kinds of sugars in here. So yeah, maybe not the best cereal to have in the morning. So what I was going to have us do together is I was going to have us compare nutritional facts of cereals. We've already taken a look at Frosted Mini Wheats and the toasted oats. So let's just fill out a little chart real quick. So I'm going to write for cereal 1, Frosted Mini Wheats. Then next is toasted oats. And then last I have Cocoa Pebbles. All right. I'm looking at calories. Let's just refresh our brains here. Calories for the Frosted Mini Wheats, 210 per serving size, okay? So 210 calories. Let's take a look at the toasted oats once more. 140 calories per serving size. Now let's look at the Cocoa Pebbles, okay? Trying to make it so you can see that I have 3 here. Cocoa Pebbles, 3/4 of a cup is a serving size, similarly to the, what was it earlier? I think it was Cocoa Puffs that we saw earlier. 120 calories per 3/4 of a cup. Okay, this is what I have so far. Easy peasy. How much total fat? You know what, let's put this in order of how I'm writing it. That would probably make it more organized and make more sense to myself. Total fat is 1.5 grams in the Frosted Mini Wheats. Fat. For the toasted oats, it is 2 grams of fat. And in the Cocoa Pebbles, it is 1 gram of fat. Now, it might sound like the Cocoa Pebbles is the best bet as far as how much fat you're taking in, but remember, it's only 3/4 of a cup, okay, compared to 1 cup of the toasted oats and 25 biscuits of the Frosted Mini Wheats. Whoa. So this is what I have, comparing the fat calories. Let's take a look at cholesterol. Cholesterol for the Frosted Mini Wheats is 0 milligrams. For the toasted oats, also 0 milligrams. Looks like I'm writing OMG. Cholesterol for the Cocoa Pebbles is 0 milligrams. And I made my own little abbreviation for cholesterol there, because I do have a teeny tiny little sheet of paper. Sodium, that salt count. In the Frosted Mini Wheats, there are 10 milligrams of sodium. In the toasted oats, I have 0. Oh, wait. Oh, geez. 190 milligrams. Yeah, that's a little bit more than 0, isn't it? Cocoa Pebbles, sodium, woo, 170 milligrams. So far, Frosted Mini Wheats is not looking so bad compared to these others. All right, let's look at sugars, total sugars. In the, there we go. They try to hide it from you. Frosted Mini Wheats has 12 grams of sugar per serving size, remember. The Toasted Oats has 12 grams per serving size of sugar. And the Cocoa Pebbles is 10 grams of sugar. Again, that might surprise you because you think this might be the tastiest or the sugariest. However, compared to the other two, this serving size is much smaller. So that's why the amount of sugar is smaller. Don't be tricked. All right, let's move on to vitamins. So I'm going to draw a little squiggly line here so I know I'm moving on from those maybe less healthy ingredients to now the more important ingredients, the vitamins. Vitamin A. How much does Frosted Mini Wheats have? I am not seeing vitamin A being represented here, which is telling me that it wasn't enough to even record. So I'm going to write a question mark of vitamin A. It doesn't say. I'll let you even check. See? All I see is vitamin D. Yep. What about the toasted oats? Vitamin A, 10%. Doesn't say how many grams because it's probably a small enough amount that it wasn't worth recording. So I'm going to write 10% vitamin A on the toasted oats. Cocoa Pebbles, vitamin A, 15%. Okay. Vitamin C. Remember, in the Frosted Mini Wheats, all I saw was vitamin D. I don't see vitamin C anywhere. So another question mark. For the toasted oats, vitamin C, 10%. Doesn't say how many grams worth, probably not worth listing. It's probably such a small amount. The Cocoa Pebbles, vitamin C, 0%. At least they told us, unlike Frosted Mini Wheats. All right, this is what my chart looks like so far. And this part is done with me, if you notice. This is the part that's done together. See that next to the name? So this part we're doing together. The next part I'll explain, it's on your own. Vitamin D. Hey, Frosted Mini Wheats has that. For vitamin D, thank you for telling me. It has 0%. But at least it tells me. Toasted oats, vitamin D, 10%. Vitamin D for the Cocoa Pebbles, 20% per serving size. Frosted Mini Wheats isn't looking so nutritious anymore. It's not recording these vitamins for me that are so important. Let's see if there's any vitamin B6, that hair, skin, and nails health vitamin. Vitamin B, nope. Okay, so again, Frosted Mini Wheats doesn't even tell me. Toasted oats, vitamin B6, 25%. And then Cocoa Pebbles, I keep wanting to say Cocoa Puffs, 25%. Okay. All right, calcium. Now I'm just looking at with the cereal itself, not with milk. So calcium, 0 milligrams. Toasted oats, 130 milligrams of calcium. And that's just the cereal, not with milk. Calcium in the Cocoa Pebbles, 0%. At least it told me though. Doesn't even tell me in milligrams how much. I mean, I guess it would be 0. Okay. You ever write a word and think it looks weird, but you know you spelled it right? That's how I'm feeling with calcium right now. Doesn't look right. All right, iron's the last one. Trying to move forward here. Iron, 18 milligrams in Frosted Mini Wheats. Iron. Or you could write FE for my science nerds out there. Toasted oats, 4.5 milligrams. You might be thinking, why is this important? I'm just writing random numbers I don't understand. Go back to the beginning, hear why it's super important, go back to the notes in the slideshow and see why these vitamins and why these ingredients are so important to pay attention to in the percentages and the amounts in each item you're eating. Lastly, Cocoa Pebbles, iron, 10%. Again, it's not telling me how many milligrams. All right, that's it for our less healthy nutrients and our healthier nutrients, those vitamins and minerals. Next, let's answer some questions. Which cereal do you think is healthier? We're probably going to look for a cereal that has a healthier amount of the bad nutrients and a higher level of the good nutrients. So let's take a look here. What do you think? Look at the bad nutrients versus the good nutrients. Form a hypothesis, predict which one would probably be the best. I'm going to go through and I'm going to put a check mark next to what is the best under each column so that I know I can make a good answer here. Which one has the fewest calories? Cocoa Pebbles. Which one has the least amount of fat? Cocoa Pebbles. Which one has the least amount of cholesterol? They're all good. So I'm not even going to check that. Which one has the least amount of sodium? Frosted Mini Wheats. What about sugar? Cocoa Pebbles. So far, Cocoa Pebbles is in the lead for the healthiest choice right now. Vitamins, again, Frosted Mini Wheats didn't give me a ton of information. So we're looking for the highest number this time rather than the lowest number. So I see that Toasted Oats had 10% vitamin A, whereas Cocoa Pebbles had 15. So I'm going to say Cocoa Pebbles again. 10% of vitamin C in Toasted Oats and 0% in Cocoa Pebbles. So Toasted Oats wins. 0% vitamin D in the Frosted Mini Wheats, 10% in Toasted Oats, and 20% in Cocoa Pebbles. Cocoa Pebbles wins again. No information on Frosted Mini Wheats. 25% vitamin B6 in Toasted Oats, 25% in Cocoa Pebbles. They both are going to get a check there. OMG, just kidding. 0 milligrams calcium in Frosted Mini Wheats, 130 in Toasted Oats, and 0 in Cocoa Pebbles. Toasted Oats, looking good. And then lastly, iron, Fe. Frosted Mini Wheats has 18 milligrams, Toasted Oats 4.5, and 10% in Cocoa Pebbles. Since it didn't give me a milligram comparison, I would say that Frosted Mini Wheats probably wins that one. So let's count up how many check marks each cereal got. Frosted Mini Wheats has 1, 2 check marks. That's its score. We're gonna see which one has the highest score. Toasted Oats has 1, 2, 3. Cocoa Pebbles has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cocoa Pebbles had the lowest amount of the bad nutrients and the highest amount of the good nutrients. So Cocoa Pebbles would be my answer for which cereal I think is the healthiest. So Cocoa Pebbles, are you surprised? Appears to be the healthiest of those three, based on what we looked at. What makes you say it's healthier? Just like we just said, it had a higher amount of the good nutrients and the lowest of the bad nutrients. Don't just guess. Do your research, figure it out, compare. Get a numerical number, a value to compare these cereals. Okay? So in summary, we compared Frosted Mini Wheats, Honey Oats, and Cocoa Pebbles to each other to see which would be the healthiest choice for a cereal breakfast. We decided that Cocoa Pebbles would be the healthiest of these three choices. Why? Because it had a higher amount of the good nutrients we want and a lower amount of the bad nutrients that we don't want a lot of. I'm going to have you do the exact same thing. However, you're only going to need to compare two cereals. If your family doesn't have cereal at home, I provided you with Cocoa Pebbles nutrition facts, remember earlier on the slides. You can do the same thing as far as looking up a different cereal's nutrition facts, or you can use one of the ones that I have showed you here today and compare one of these to the Cocoa Puffs. Maybe you want to compare Cocoa Pebbles to Cocoa Puffs. You're going to come up with a similar answer. So which is the healthiest? Make sure you've got evidence to support your answer. Why is it the healthiest? So compare those good nutrients to those bad nutrients, and that is how you will find your answer. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that you will now pay attention to those nutrition facts and ingredients in the foods you're eating because it is a big deal, okay? I hope you enjoyed this special activity science lesson today, and I want to let you know that you're doing a great job. And what my hope is for you with this lesson is that you're now going to have more tools. I've given you more tools to make healthy choices with food that you're eating on your own. So as you get older, you have ways to figure out what is the best fuel for your body. Okay? So hopefully you'll choose some healthy eating. All right, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and thank you for sticking with me through this and all my ramblings. And I appreciate you. I love you. I miss you. Have a great day. See you at 5 o'clock for our read aloud.